Have you ever wanted to be a real hero? Well, you can be to a stray or unwanted dog or cat at your local Humane Society. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. On today's show, we'll bring you the latest Humane Society news, and if you're already a loving pet owner, we'll even bring you some information about Volusia County's Pet Vet Cruiser. Then health reporter Stephanie Strong will bring us some information about diabetes and how you can be tested. And finally, Community Information Director Dave Byron will sit down with Mosquito Control Director Jim McNelly for some important information that will help you protect yourself and your family from the very real threats that those tiny pests can pose. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. Recent heavy rains in Volusia County prove it doesn't take a hurricane or tropical flood to cause major flooding. Many parts of the county experienced flooding after heavy rains last week. The primary areas impacted by recent storms were on the east side of the county, east of Nova Road. Dozens of streets were closed in Ormond Beach, Holly Hill, Daytona Beach, South Daytona, Port Orange, and New Smyrna Beach. In less than 8 hours, several areas received record-setting rainfall, including Daytona Beach with 7.95 inches, Ormond Beach with 6.37 inches, and New Smyrna Beach with 5.58 inches.
This did come on us rather quickly, and a lot of people didn't have time to be prepared, or specifically for this event, which is why we should be prepared all the time. See to it that your automobile never gets below a half a tank of gasoline. Check the brakes and the tires on a regular basis so you know that you've got some good tires and good braking system if you have to stop. Don't assume that because there's a road somewhere and you can't see it, it's safe. Part of that road may have collapsed and you might be going through a substantial pothole that'll give you a flat tire or will do some damage to your vehicle. In fact, if you can't see the road, don't proceed ahead. Stop, back off, and find another route. You need to be able to see that asphalt or not drive down the street.
One of the most important things you can do to protect your home and family before a flood is to purchase a federal flood insurance policy.
We so commonly hear people say, well, I don't need flood insurance because I'm not within the floodplain area. Everybody should have flood insurance. You never know when circumstances are going to arise that's going to cause a flood for your home, and you need to pay that little bit of extra money to see to it that you're covered properly and you're insured to see to it that if something like this happens, you're going to be covered.
Flood damages are not covered under homeowners insurance policies. You have to buy a separate flood policy. To learn more about flood insurance, you can visit floodsmart.gov. Unfortunately, each year thousands of unwanted and unclaimed dogs and cats are killed at area humane societies. In fact, the majority of the animals that are impounded by the animal control offices of the county and cities are not returned to their owners. The cost to care for these stray animals and dispose of them after their waiting period is a substantial expense. Recently, the County Council approved the expenditure of $274,000 for the county's annual contracts with the Halifax Humane Society and the Southeast Volusia Humane Society. The Humane Societies house animals picked up in the incorporated areas of Volusia County. They collect fees from owners of the animals that are returned and credit billings to the county. County Animal Control Director Sergio Pacheco said stray, unwanted dogs and cats are a major problem for the county and are a big responsibility for the county animal control.
It's important that you get your animals spayed and neutered. As a matter of fact, it is the law in Volusia County that your animal must be spayed and neutered. Recently, we renewed our contracts with our local humane societies here in Volusia County. We have two humane societies, one located in New Smyrna Beach and one located in the Daytona area. They do a fantastic job on trying to find homes for all these animals. Unfortunately, all the animals that we do pick up cannot find homes. So it's so important to get your animals spayed and neutered.
Volusia County has a mobile veterinary clinic that offers low-cost spaying and neutering services to dogs and cats in unincorporated areas in the cities of DeLand and South Daytona. Since the Pet Vet Cruiser started making rounds in 2007, more than 14,000 dogs and cats have been sterilized. For more information about the Pet Vet Cruiser, you can visit volusia.org/petvet. Passenger traffic at Daytona Beach International Airport increased 4% in August when compared with August of 2013. During the month, 55,702 passengers flew in and out of the county-operated airport, compared with 53,518 passengers last August. Daytona Beach International Airport Business Development Director Steve Cook says things are really looking up for the county-run airport.
We're now at another 4% increase for the month of August. Now that is really, if you go back to the time our traffic started to increase, was really November 2009. So it's been almost 5 years of increase except for 5 months. And most of those were due to a weather condition in Atlanta. So it's been a consistent trend. We think that's going to carry through the end of the year and also into next year.
For more information about scheduling and flights, you can visit flydaytonafirst.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Willie Kimmons, a member of the Children and Families Advisory Board. This volunteer group works with the Volusia County Council and makes recommendations that promote healthy children and strong families. It is an honor and a pleasure to serve on this board. The county has openings on several advisory boards, which allow you to play an important role in the policy-making process. If you'd like to share your time and talents with your county government, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit volusia.org/advisory and complete an application of the board of your choice. Today, we must make a concerted effort to save our children, because our children are our future. Thank you.
And now let's join Kendra Haley with this week's edition of the Volusia Here and Now.
If you're looking for ways to positively impact your community, volunteering is a great way to do so. Volusia County offers a wide variety of unique volunteer opportunities throughout the county. If you'd like to get up close with nature, then the Lyonia Environmental Center in Deltona may be for you.
We have everything you can think of. We are an education facility, so we are always looking for volunteers to help with our education programs. We have school field trips, we have scout programs, we offer public programs on the weekends.
Sandra Falcon is the manager of Lyonia Environmental Center and says that volunteer opportunities range from caring for animals to leading nature hikes.
We look for volunteers to help us with animal husbandry, cleaning the cages, feeding the animals, checking on their welfare, making sure they're healthy. We also look for volunteers to help us with hikes in the preserve, with gardening. We have a beautiful butterfly garden. Being an environmental center, we try to grow our own plants to replant in that butterfly garden, so we're always looking for people that can help us with trimming, seeding, planting, replanting again, monitoring that as well.
If you're looking for a way to get engaged, 4-H is a great place to do it. We definitely have a lot of animals here to learn how to take care of.
The Volusia County 4-H program is always looking for volunteers. Extension Agent Laura Cash says that agriculture is the heart of 4-H, and there are a number of other volunteer opportunities available.
People in the community that would like to give back to our youth by teaching workshops on things that they're interested in, such as sewing or cooking. I welcome those people. It's all about life skills, and it's all about youth development and turning our kids into the citizens of the future and what we want them to be. That's what 4-H is about, and that's what our volunteers, we're all working together to accomplish that, and it really does take a community to raise a kid.
Volunteer Valerie Hammond says by volunteering with 4-H, you get back way more than you give.
Get involved. There's nothing, it gives back daily, absolutely. You know, you've got to take the time, you've got to have the time, but the positive and the reward gives so much back. There's nothing like it.
Advisory boards are a great way for citizens to get involved in the important issues that affect Volusia County. These groups research and make recommendations to the County Council on a variety of topics, including growth management, services for children and families, licensing for contractors, tourism marketing, funding for cultural organizations, and many more.
May I help you?
The libraries are a fantastic way to get engaged and make an impact. Library Services utilizes volunteers from age 13 to over 90 to help with a wide range of duties, including shelving materials, checking in materials, managing the phones, and programming assistance. So, if you have time and the desire to volunteer, Volusia County has an opportunity for every age, location, and time commitment. For more information and to get involved in various volunteer programs, visit volusia.org/volunteer. For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Kendra Haley.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, diabetes affects 25.8 million people, or 8.3% of the U.S. population. More than likely, you or someone you know has diabetes, but there are many people living with it and they don't know about it. The Florida Department of Health in Volusia wants to raise awareness about diabetes and about getting tested for it and how to manage it. Stephanie Strong has more in this segment of Community Health Matters.
Here are some key facts about diabetes. Did you know diabetes affects about 25.8 million people? That's 8.3% of the U.S. population. 18.8 million people have been diagnosed with diabetes. Another 7 million are undiagnosed.
Diabetes is not only prevalent, but becoming more prevalent. So folks need to become aware of whether they have diabetes or not by visiting their healthcare provider to be screened for diabetes.
Diabetes is a disease in which the body has a shortage of insulin, a decreased ability to use insulin, or both. Insulin is a hormone that allows glucose or sugar to enter cells and be converted to energy. When diabetes is not controlled, glucose and fats remain in the blood and, over time, damage vital organs. This can cause serious health complications, including heart disease, blindness, kidney failure, and lower extremity amputations. However, there are ways to take preventative measures to avoid diabetes and other serious diseases.
Put off dealing with diabetes, and you might not have a leg to stand on. You might not have to face it. Eventually, you might not have to bother. Diabetes doesn't have to take apart your life, not if you eat healthy, exercise, and take your medicine to control your blood sugar.
I'm controlling my diabetes. It's making a huge difference.
Control your diabetes for life. Visit yourdiabetesinfo.org.
For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
For more information on this and any other health-related issues, you can log on to volusiahealth.com. In the studio today with Community Information Director Dave Byron is Volusia County's Mosquito Control Director Jim McNelly. They'll give us the latest on the mosquito conditions here in Volusia County.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. Although there's no cause for alarm, Volusia County's Mosquito Control Division has stepped up its efforts to manage the mosquito annoyance level in the wake of a reported case of human West Nile virus. So with that in mind, we have with us in the studio today Volusia County's Mosquito Control Director Jim McNelly. We'll get the latest on the mosquito conditions in Volusia County, and again, we'll tell you what the county is doing and what you can do to help reduce the number of mosquitoes around your home. Jim, thanks for being with us. How you doing?
Great, pleasure to be here.
Hey, we just had you on the program about a month ago, and I thought, God, we'd gotten rid of the mosquito guy, and you're back. Seriously, you know, this is the time of the year when we are concerned about mosquitoes that spread viruses to humans. We do have one case of human West Nile virus. What is the very latest, Jim, on the threat to humans?
Well, you know, we have a heightened level of activity around the state. So coincidentally, Dave, the state received a report that both Polk and Pasco had their first West Nile cases of the year in humans. So we have stepped up, as you said, our control activities, and coincidentally tonight we'll have a plane in the air to spray a significant portion of the district. So
let's put this into a perspective for the public, Jim. So okay, we've got a case in in one county and a case in another county, and of course one case in Volusia County. I know you're watching this very closely. I mean, should the public be alarmed or just alert? I mean, how do you put this into perspective?
That's a great way to put it. They shouldn't be alarmed. They should simply be alert and stick to the basics of what we tell them throughout the year. So avoid mosquitoes when they can. Wear those long sleeves, long pants, put on a decent repellent, and check your screens.
You know, Jim, this is the time of year typically in Florida when we start to get concerned with West Nile virus. And, you know, I remember some years where, you know, high school football games in the evening were canceled and that sort of thing. So it doesn't seem like we're at anywhere near that point yet.
No, we're not at that level. You know, we're doing our surveillance as we do it every week. We have those sentinel chickens out there, and we're bleeding them on a weekly basis. They give us great information. We communicate with the Florida Department of Health and vice versa. So we get the latest and the greatest from them on what's occurring, not just in Volusia County, but in our neighboring counties. No, there is no alarm at this point.
And, you know, as far as I understand, Jim, the general annoyance level in Volusia County is not too bad right now.
No, it's really not. That might change as of next week, toward the end of next week, based on what we're experiencing in Volusia County today with the heavy rains.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we're typing this segment for Volusia Magazine, we've had one day of very heavy rain and expected to get more in the next couple of days. That creates the standing water that mosquitoes need. Give us that connection between water and mosquito annoyance levels, because there is a connection there.
Mosquitoes require standing water in which to develop, and so all of this rain that we're seeing, it will help us in some respects. So it will flush out many of the catch basins and storm drains that these mosquitoes are produced in, but we are going to see a lot of standing water over the next 7 to 10 days, and I expect we're going to see some heightened levels of mosquito activity roughly a week from now.
So with that knowledge, you know what you're in for. What are you going to do, Jim, to try to get ahead of that?
You know, we're going to do what we do normally, which is to take a look at that standing water. So we're going to put a full court press on, so to speak, and have our folks out there. It's likely that we'll be working through the weekend. I don't know that we're going to catch up to the amount of water that's on the ground now, or it's forecasted to fall later today and through Friday. But we're going to do what we can until those mosquitoes start to emerge again, 7 days or so from now.
And so you guys are taking this from the air and from the ground, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jim, you know, what do you do to try to move this standing water? I know throughout the course of a year, when we don't have a bad problem, but you guys are always out there trying to make the ditches clean and the water flow smoothly and so forth. I mean, you know, that's sort of the proactive side of what you do.
It is. We do an awful lot of ditch maintenance. There are not just tens of miles, but hundreds of miles of ditch network inside the district, and we, along with our fellows in Road and Bridge, keep those ditches moving, free of debris, free of the vegetation that grows along the sides, just to keep that water moving and flowing.
You know, going back to the coordination that you mentioned with, you know, some of the other agencies, I know Volusia County Mosquito Control and the Volusia County Health Department, I mean, you people work hand in glove. You're in daily contact with those folks. You know, tell us about the Health Department's responsibility and your responsibility and how that works.
Well, we do a lot of sampling of, as I said, the blood from our chickens. We do a lot of sampling of the mosquitoes. We send a lot of this blood and mosquitoes to State Health, and they do the diagnostics to determine whether the chickens have been bitten by mosquitoes that are carrying disease. And when we ask to have mosquitoes tested, they'll do that as well for the various diseases that we have in Volusia County. And they give us the results. They do so expediently.
Right. You know, it's, you know, I was thinking the other day when you and I were talking, Jim, and you know, we live in such a high-tech world, and there's a computer for this and a computer for that and a system for this and a system for that, and yet one of the best tools that you have involve flocks of chickens that are strategically placed around the county, and you take a blood sample every week, and it's probably one of your best monitors.
It really is, true enough. It's low-tech, if you will, but it really is one of our best monitors.
And so the chickens themselves, for the public out there that don't get the connection, as I understand it, and from listening to people like you, the chickens may be bitten by an infected mosquito. It doesn't hurt the chickens, but you can monitor the presence of virus. Is that a simple way to say it?
It is. It doesn't hurt the chicken at all. They create antibodies to ward off the disease, and we're simply looking for the antibodies.
Mm-hmm. And that, I guess, allows you to determine, even before there is any human cases, whether there's any likelihood or any presence of a certain mosquito with a certain type of problem.
That's right. You've heard me refer to them before as smoke alarms. So
right.
Often our chickens will test positive prior to certainly a human being, but even before a horse.
Mm-hmm. Jim, you know, besides West Nile virus, what are some of the other health concerns related to mosquitoes that you're watching?
Well, beyond West Nile, you know, we test for Eastern equine in our chickens, Highlands jay, and St. Louis. Those are the 4 diseases that we look for in our chickens. We're also concerned with chikungunya and dengue. Those are 2 completely different diseases transmitted by different mosquitoes,
right.
Completely different cycles.
You know, I'm sure you had heard of it, but I had never heard of chikungunya until this year. It seems like in your field, you're always watching for new critters that are coming this way, and I don't know whether that's a new phenomenon or what, but what's on the horizon in terms of those mosquitoes out there that you're watching?
Well, it really is dengue and chikungunya. Those
right.
are transmitted by the mosquitoes that are in containers.
Right.
And we see an awful lot of container production in Volusia County. We get imported cases of dengue and chikungunya. People that travel to another country are bitten and bring the disease back to Volusia County, but so far so good. We haven't seen any local transmission.
And generally, Jim, and correct me if I'm wrong, but generally someone that would contract, let's say, West Nile virus, if they're a relatively healthy person, it's sort of like they got the flu. Is that?
Generally speaking, the initial symptoms of most mosquito-transmitted diseases are flu-like symptoms, yes.
Right. And the people, I guess, that would be the most at risk, I guess, would be the elderly and those with compromised immune systems and so forth?
Elderly, compromised immune systems, sometimes young people.
Okay. So let's talk about what homeowners and business owners can do, because they can do a lot to help themselves. We say it over and over again, but it's worth repeating this time of year. What do people need to do around their properties to help you and help them?
We do say it over and over. I feel like I'm beating the same drum over and over, but tip and toss. So get rid of that water in the containers around your residence, around your business. If you can, throw away the containers if you don't need them. Properly dispose of tires. Tip your bird bath. That will help immensely around your residence. It'll help your neighbors as well.
And you've made the illustration that even an object as small as a turned over bottle cap with a little water in it can be the breeding grounds for lots of mosquitoes.
It can produce dozens of mosquitoes over the course of a season, yes.
And so, you know, tipping and tossing in your own backyard not only keeps the mosquito annoyance level down around your property, but you're doing your neighbor a favor as well, right?
Correct, and you really need to do it consistently. So during the season between May and October, once a week.
All right, so Florida's an outdoor state. The weather's great year-round. People like to go out, walk, run, that sort of thing, work outside, play golf, whatever. I guess the periods that would be the most concern would be early morning and dusk, right?
Dusk and dawn, correct. That's when most mosquitoes are active. So if you can avoid those time periods, you'll avoid a lot of the mosquitoes, not all.
Simply said, you know, it is warm in Florida, but, you know, we do advise people to cover up, huh?
That's true. Cover up when you can, and again, just avail yourself of an over-the-counter repellent.
And the active ingredient in that repellent, we've said over and over again, is DEET, correct?
That's right, DEET.
And what about, you know, those, you know, I guess homemade remedies or, you know, kind of off-the-counter remedies? Do they work?
I just wouldn't put a lot of stock in those home remedies. A lot of them are simply urban myths. So stick to the gold standard, stick to the DEET, or take a look at cdc.gov. They do have 3 or 4 other repellents that people can use that are tried and true.
And, you know, Jim, we always like to point out that, you know, obviously your folks do use chemicals, but EPA approved, and you guys are heavily regulated, and you know what you're doing, I guess.
EPA approved, everybody is licensed, they're all professionals. We stick to the label is the law. So as long as we stick to the label, use calibrated equipment, which we do at all times, we minimize the risk of anything it is that we're putting out there in the environment.
And that would be not only the risk to humans, but you know, lots of folks have dogs, cats, pets, and that sort of thing, and no concern there?
No, none.
Jim, I guess as we look toward the calendar, moving toward the mid-fall period, it seems to me that what we're looking for is you know, a lot less rainfall and a little cooler weather, and we typically will be on the downside of this.
Really hoping that the rainfall will stop shortly. We'll see some cooler temperatures. Yes, absolutely. That's going to help us out a lot.
For folks out there that are watching this, perhaps they have questions for you. They may want to get more information. Maybe they want to have you folks come by and take a look at their properties, register a service call and so forth. How does all of that work?
They can do so online. They can find us online at volusia.org, click on services. They can go right to our website and put a service request in online. They can do that 24/7, or they can call us. You can call us on the phone, 386-424-2920.
County Council has just passed a new budget for the fiscal year, and a lot of folks want to know where all that money goes. Well, part of it goes to mosquito control. You're part of the county budget.
We are, in fact, part of the county budget.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. I know it's been a busy summer for you guys. It looks like it's not quite over yet.
Not quite over yet.
So thanks for sharing the information with us. Of course, we'll have you back if there's any more public health concerns. So again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Our guest today, Jim McNelly. He's Volusia County's Mosquito Control Director. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.